detrimental, could be lethal. Are you willing to take that chance? Much too seedy, they too greedy, eyes too beady. Honeymoon end before the romance. We expect corruption, but now without check or interruption. That a few might stuff the pocket, but not racket by the pocket. From the constant comments, we get no recess. Before things fall apart and the riot starts. Even in chutney, I'll tell them go. Make it sooner than later. To protect the future, please. For the sake of we children and the next generation. Go. To safeguard our image. Before Griffith cause more damage. Like a dog with fleas. A dog on the knees. And I'm begging, go now. They try to stick me with Rashmi. Go now. They have more trick than Houdini. Streams turn into rivers, then into seas. That's why I'm singing. Go now. Please, Mrs. Kamla. Go now. Take Munila and Sharma. Go now. Please. Them and them minions, total villains, raking millions. Their slogan, we shall rise, it was so true. Tell John Public not to panic while them and they sidekick. Swimming in a pool of dollars so blue. Like meat-eating vulture, they neglect agriculture. Mega fans of phony, Mama Guy Caroni. Sweet man Glenn and Sharma came face to face with the karma. And Mill was awful, gone through with two pull. Don't need a big mouth to tell them go. Watch her and see they does follow now. Before we regret tomorrow, please. You're setting a bad example. Family values they trample. Go. It's only vice they desire. Now. Before the 5 years expire, like a dog with fleas, a dog on the knees. And a bleeding go now. Before we end in bankruptcy. Before they empty the treasury. Streams turn into rivers, then into seas. Is why I'm bleeding go now. Immediately. And don't forget your AG go now. Please. Love to quarrel, always oral, highly immoral. They let the good doctor starve to death. Used to court him, once support him, no road to point for him. But once in power, they quickly forget. They love confrontation, so no mediation. The case by the Privy Council, but the warriors is settled. You see, you could make a fortune, filling up a lagoon. The environment is boost out these people too. Is why I want them go. With them old lies they peddling now. It's only PR they selling. They wouldn't tell me the whole truth. The man just wanted a root. Before they carve out a mountain. Before the cost we start counting. Like a dog with fleas, a dog on the knees. And I'm begging go now. Let's get the contract. Who profit from the kickback? Streams turn into rivers, then into seas. Is why I'm singing go now. Tell Munila and Surush. It's best they seek refuge. Go now, please.
One hit at a time. The best music on the best radio. Real FM.
My partner Big J does say, I want to fall. Me, I want to fall. I want to stand up for my rights. Everything I in the city. I say this man is a magician with his golden pen in his hand. See me waiting for miracles, but all I get in is basket and brambles. With lawyer tactics so he could deceive, cause we so gullible and so naive. By the stroke of a pen, massive increase in salaries. They were broke, so no more money worry. By the stroke of a pen, a whole family on the breadline. A special need child, he was only 9. By the stroke of a pen, embezzlement in lotto, you save a man to make laco. By the stroke of a pen, the boss flies in helicopter to see kayaks wet in the rainwater. The pen never drink, the pen never smoke, but somehow that pen catch a stroke. This man can be serious, like he out to papi show us. Running a country is no game. It's not about likes and fame. You promise sun, wind and rain. What on earth you won't promise again? In the same breath you're changing your mind. No paper to be signed. By the stroke of a pen, free money in GDP, but you must be in certain category. By the stroke of a pen, Chinese houses were snatched away. 70,000 they cannot pay. By the stroke of a pen, planting only black pepper, forget coconut, meg and banana. By the stroke of a pen, make me an ambassador to Dubai, China or Russia. What happened to the damn pen? I don't know. Maybe the ink just stopped flow. If you take back on your promises, with your eloquence come say that with ease. People will certainly understand. Don't afraid to be a man. The country has never been hard so. Use the pen, let some money go. You said we deserve a lot of money. Was that election gimmickry? By the stroke of a pen, bring me on the plane with you. Foreign minister can't help you. By the stroke of a pen, kayaks running from Berry. You shut down the houses that was cruel. By the stroke of a pen, you promised our healthcare will be the best in the hemisphere. By the stroke of a pen, one infant mortality keep hurting family. The pen never drink, the pen never smoke, but somehow that damn pen catch a stroke. They say today's walk on a
Devon.
Bless.
Igwe. Independent Talk for Sunday, the 3rd day of November. The year coming to an end, Devon.
Yes. All will end already.
Wow. Grenada still remains our constituency. Here is our parliament. And we're the spokesperson for the people. We're blessed and protected by the Ancient of Days. And we try to style the discussion this afternoon on burial the equalizer. Then when we have some issues, we have a Sunday piece, we go discuss the topical issue of oil and gas. We go ask some questions a lot and suggest an independent investigation to be done. Corruption continues unabated and the Prime Minister seems to not denying corruption, but saying other people corrupt too. Or statutorization of the hospital, and we go speak to some unfulfilled promises. We will speak to a little bit on the economy and ask some questions, because we hear the budget will be late. So, our purpose here is to bring people the facts. We always want people to check us. We know facts has only one side. Opinion matters not when it comes to facts. What you do with the facts is a matter entirely for you, but we hope, it is our advice, that it will help you to make more informed decisions like election time and voting. We're here to advocate for truth and justice, even when it does not affect us personally, because we believe justice delayed is justice denied. We're not here to flatter anybody or praise them unduly, but to be a messenger of truth. We're here to advocate for those who cannot do it for themselves, because you have a lot of people who cannot speak for themselves. So we're here to speak for them based on what they tell us. We have a new concept in media, new media, real media. We're here to bring hope to those who are hurting by the actions of this government. We call them poor people terrorists. The currency we deal with here is unvarnished truth, information, and facts. Where shame is absent, we say anything could happen. Like how the Prime Minister, how Mr. Deacon Mitchell, the holder of the office of Prime Minister, continue to speak untruth and mislead the Grenadian public. All lies will be exposed here. As per usual, we put a little piece together, and it entitles Grenadians finally got their voices back. Finally, after 2 years, the citizens of Grenada are finding their voice again. Voices that went mute in June 2022. Whether to give the Deacon Mitchell administration a fair chance to prove their transformation agenda, or influenced by fear of victimization. The latter seems to be more plausible, the fear of victimization, as all and sundry felt the wrath of Deacon and his gang, whether through indiscriminate firing, transfers, or just downright kicking to the curb. Anything to cause maximum pain on perceived NNP supporters or anyone who dare think on the opposite end of Deacon's path to restorative justice. He has not yet explained what he is trying to restore and to whom, but based on the government's trajectory, some of his ministers will become filthy rich by the time of next election cycle. The real transformers are those of us, like Devon and Igwe and Francis Pierre, who are unafraid to speak up and push back at the mounting corruption that has emerged and become commonplace in the eyes of the administration. It all started with the Prime Minister justifying $2,000 corruption prevention allowance, and then a further $5,000, and then a further $10,000, giving legitimacy to robbery with violence in broad daylight. The Prime Minister unashamed justified the granting of $1 million loan to his ministers, brushing aside the legislative condemn, literally pissing in the face of Grenadians, with a sheepish smirk on his face. The same smirk he carried on GBN when he declared that he was the main seller of Grenada. No truer words have been spoken. The statement exemplifies the real Deacon Mitchell, the one beaming with arrogance, clueless as a button, that he has actually given life to the appearance of grand corruption, indicating that he accepted gifts and plagiarized worth many thousands from a billionaire who desires to do business with Grenada. It would be instructive to imagine that crazy boss or utter quietness inside the office of the Integrity Commission. For the first time in the history of our country, cabinet ministers continue to benefit from the CBI program, notwithstanding the obvious open door for corrupt practices and conflict of interest. To date, the government refused to give any account on the now $25 million allocated for the year-long Independence Fete. Even this weekend, the spending spree continues in the Prime Minister's constituency, whilst our brothers and sisters suffer in Carriacou. So the Russian roulette continues, prompting the young Mitchell to pop up on friendly media houses to try to outfire all the places. The last blaze associated with the suspect trip to Rwanda and the Nigerian with the chief of staff. While news emanating from Nigeria suggests that there is some oil deal, our Prime Minister look at us straight in the face and says he has no idea. The same face he wore when he lied about the Samoa agreement and oil and gas documents that he said did not exist. We await the last of this. Truth be told, Deacon has failed in invoking the spirit of Morris Bishop, but has succeeded in waking up the fire in the bellies of the Grenadians. For we are Kalingo, Carib, Arawak, French, English, Kalalo, oil down kind of people. A mixture unassuming should never be taken for granted. We continue the march forward. So Igwe and Devon try to encapsulate the recent dealings with the Honorable Prime Minister and how he goes. Yes, Devon.
Yes, blessed evening to all, Master Carl Igwe, and to all our listeners and viewers out there. And wow, quite an interesting 2 weeks basically when it comes to politics and information, coming out of government. All right. We have seen our Prime Minister continue to lie to the citizens, and so on a number of issues, right, concerning, for example, the trip to Nigeria and Rwanda, and so on, the whole question of the documents and so for oil and everything like that. And he's just being a lawyer plus liar, and it's not surprising the kind of word that he's been uttering, trying to distract and to move away the Grenadian people from the real issue, right, which is potential corruption within this present administration. And we must not take it lightly, right, and brush aside by just listening to the Prime Minister and his utterance. We have to do our own investigation. We have to read more. We have to get to the sources of what went on, especially with the deal in Nigeria, right? Because we see part of that, we have competing companies, right? And Grenada again is in the spotlight when it comes to oil, right? Oil and gas, right? In 2018, when it was announced by the former Prime Minister that we have found oil in our waters, big issue. Some say we lied, some say all sorts of things. Now it is proven that it is true, that Grenada does have some form, right, of oil and gas in its water, and there are piranhas fighting to get to it. So as a people, we have to be careful as to the information that we consume and we disseminate, right? We have to ensure that we let this government be accountable, right, in most of the dealings that they're doing. And we have not seen that. Morality is a private issue, all these sorts of things. So one of the reasons that myself, Master Carl, Igwe, and the other on the different platforms decided to make it our duty to confront this government, right, with the lies and the deception that they continue to do. And we will be always here. We will never leave. As long as we have the breath of life given to us by God, we will continue to champion to the Grenadian people the truth about everything that is going on in this country.
Corruption. It was quite interesting that the holder of the office of Prime Minister was on one of the friendly media outlets to him, and the question was asked that the opposition is laying the claim of corruption. And the Prime Minister, the holder of the office of the Prime Minister, did not deny. You see, the opposition has no moral authority to talk on corruption. He didn't say no.
He can't.
So if you being the Prime Minister and you have evidence of the opposition and corruption, jail them.
Of course. Don't have no more say, and that should be to your benefit.
Because you try a shot all you up in the game with the Polish gentleman. You don't get you. But there are some questions you must answer to the Grenadian public. Because there's information to suggest or an allegation, and school children brought it out, that an advice was given to ministers if they want to come in Brooks and leave Brooks.
Damn,
it's a matter for all.
Wow.
So that I'm hearing some have already accumulated 600,000 in their bank accounts. We don't know.
And they're going after GDP without impunity. Wow.
So there's a few things we want to know about Nation Builders Inc. and how they was able to get money before they became registered.
And a lot of money, eh? $500,000.
We're hearing about some allegations of MPs bribing police officers. We want to know. And what was the mother of all sins? The CBI passport has now become as white as snow. And these are the things that concerns people. And that brings us to oil
and gas.
Get you also have something with the GG on oil and gas. Let the people hear.
Situation is untenable and completely unacceptable, and my government is committed to doing all within its power to unearth the mystery of Grenada's oil and gas status. Comprised of distinguished Grenadians, including Mr. Rodney George, Mr. Richard Duncan, Mr. Raymond Nurse, and the Office of the Attorney General, represented by the Solicitor General, to investigate and to do what it takes to demystify our oil and gas situation.
Well, Gigi, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's
they have you looking real stupid.
Yeah.
Because they knew otherwise as relates to oil and gas. Well, they have the GG. Did you like they trying to set you up?
What's the timeline of that speech the GG made? When it was made in the last, not the last throne speech, which was September, but sometime earlier this year, was it? I'm trying to establish a point there. When she made that particular...
We got to think that out. Yeah. But the fact remains, Devon, timeline or not, the Prime Minister knew otherwise. Because there's information suggesting the cabinet with the documents was broken in two. And what is the stage of oil and gas? So all these years, the holder of the office of Prime Minister allowed his cronies, lackeys, and disciples, every time you jam them in a discussion, the defense was oil and gas. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine said he was in Grenville one time, and some sea mass come up, some seaweed. And they call him and say, look at Keith Mitchell oil and gas. So the Prime Minister ought to come out and apologize to the nation. Anything other than that would not suffice. With the same energy, he called on the opposition leader or ministers to give information. You know what they get? You will get to that. We need him to do it with the same energy. Let me take a break and come back.
Tell me candid, they too wicked, far too crooked. That is the frequent comment I hear. Too one-sided, underhanded, can't be trusted. This is the opinion, ear to ear. For their own abuses, they keep making excuses. Housing crack up over, they unleash their lawyer. Set up an inquiry just to get Kid Rowley. But they wouldn't sue the false paper screw. I don't need to close to tell them go. Hurry, pack up your bundle now. Stop fooling the people. The country taking and beating. So maybe I repeating. Go. They're like a natural disaster. Now. 10 times worse than Ebola. Like a dog with fleas and tongue on their knees. And I'm begging. Now we and I did one week. Prophesy to the country, streets turn into rivers, then into seas. Is why I'm singing. Now this is my humble petition. Announce the date for election. Go now, please. Accidental, detrimental, could be lethal. Are you willing to take that chance? Much too seedy, they too greedy, eyes too beady. Honeymoon end before the romance. We expect corruption, but now it's all check up.
So the Honorable Prime Minister, the holder of the office of Prime Minister, had information about oil and gas in his grasp, and he continued to mislead the nation as to what is oil and gas. But then you say all lies will be exposed. And because we cannot trust the Prime Minister anymore, we demand. And all we ask in Prime Minister, call election. Look for a fresh mandate. Because you don't perform with distinction. So, the Prime Minister has proven himself to be a man that the truth abideth not in. And again, the oil and gas situation has rendered the Prime Minister derelict as a failure. And he's bringing Grenada down a failed state. But some questions must be asked in connection with the information from Nigeria, Devon. Because had it not been for the Nigerian press, had it not been for the Nigerian press, we would not never know or confirm that the Prime Minister had the information. So what we are asking, the fact that he had the information and he was not telling us, we can't believe when they ask him about the deal when he say he don't know. We can't believe him. Because the same thing he did with the Samoa agreement. Because the Prime Minister has a track record of not speaking the truth. what Grenada stands to gain from whatsoever agreement which has been signed in Nigeria. What Grenada has to give up based on the agreements I make. I say he is the seller of Grenada. So we want to know what you offered the Nigerian and what you intend to get in return. Because you see, he is not a man of truth, so you cannot take his words, lock, and thing. So thanks to the Nigerian press, because we would have been here and you'd have continued to mislead the people there.
Still wondering if the documents was found.
What negotiations took place? Did you go to enrich yourself with more CBI money and at the same time you say oil money available, so let me take some still? Did you get into any agreement where royalties will be paid to you based on the oil and gas situation? Did you go to collect money to campaign? Or take a down payment with money to campaign? And what you have to give up in return of the country?
Mm-hmm. What was offered?
Yes. What was the deal?
Yeah, we would really love to know.
What you sell? Yeah. What you promise?
What was promised to you?
And seeing that you boast about the private visit you make with some Dangote. And Dangote don't afraid to spend any money.
No. He has.
And seeing that you announce to the Grenadian people in the sanctity of Parliament that if you're out on the ground and you're beggy, you could be bought. So how much persons within the Parliament of Grenada have been bought with that agreement in Nigeria? These are the questions you must answer. Anything short of that, we demand that you call elections early next year. Do it. So if it's an election budget you want to present, okay. Because we go get to the budget and you have to ask some questions about it, But we only oil thing. And then when you ask a pertinent question, when were you aware? When did you come aware? When did you know? When did you break the cabinet? When did you get the documents for oil and gas? What is the timeline? And why you withholded that information from the Grenadian public? We know is a need to know, but oil is a serious need to know.
Very much so.
So you want to know when did you get your hands on the information? When the cabinet was broken for the document? And what hinder you from telling the Grenadian public that yes, in truth, the NNP did not lie about oil and gas?
Because the Prime Minister is claiming, right, that when he made that statement about there is no documents and no documents can be found, he is claiming that when he made that statement, right, there were no documents, there were no discussions with former Minister Bowen, right, and there were no documents available. As a matter of fact, there were no reports from the ministries, right, when it comes to oil and gas. So he's contending that when he made that statement of that, right, it was before the documents was found. I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, but even for argument's sake, Devon, let we agree with him. But when you got the information, why didn't you say? So if
ego,
let me give him that. He didn't know when he said. But there's a small matter of GPG lawyers try to contact you and you refuse.
And days after the election.
There's a small matter that the cabinet allegedly was broken into and documents was found. So what hindered you? Why the Nigerian press had to break the news for you to admit our documentation.
And you had a discussion with Minister Bowen.
What hindered you from telling the nation? We can play the clip where you say either or thing, eh? Because
I'll challenge the opposition leader. If he says he knows where the files, ask him if his colleague ministers know where the files are. Right? If they know where the files are, then either them or him can publicly indicate where the files are, where they've been stored, and how the files can be accessed, and indicate that to the public servants so that they can tell us.
So, a minister then, you had, I don't know if it's meetings or conversations as to the whereabouts of the file that you say did not exist. Well, what he has to tell the Grenadian people, because see, the throne speech is like the government telling you how they intend to treat with. And then you made the GG read that out.
Knowing well.
And then you get the information, cabinet broken. How come you didn't let the GG say, well, some investigation was done in the last throne speech, and, well, we on the way to oil and gas? Or as how we say, I don't know. Because he's a guy, you can't believe him.
Well, he's a liar, you know.
You can't believe him. So quoting him a lot of times don't make any sense.
No, it don't make no sense.
But the question is, what type of negotiations did you engage yourself in Nigeria in respect to oil and gas? You is the seller of Grenada. What did you sell?
And you know what
with oil and gas?
What is interesting, in his interviews and so around, right? He have not stated to the Grenadian people that, look, I have gotten this commitment from, well, he can't say the government and people of Nigeria. He could only talk about the businessman because it was a private trip. But he has not given the commitment that, okay, look, we will get in, we go into negotiations to get some cement or some other petroleum products or whatever, because the company in question is a producer of different petroleum products and that sort of thing. So he have not even say what out of that trip, what does Grenada stand to benefit. He just continue to evade the whole questions of the agreements and so what was signed or was agreed upon, right, by him and that private businessman, because it was not an official government trip, right? It was a private invitation that the Prime Minister went on.
Because there are some questions again, Devon. Is it coincidental that whilst you on your private frolic in Nigeria, GPG appeared in Nigeria on the same time an agreement was signed? Is the company that signed any agreement with GPG, is that company a subsidiary of Dangote?
Yeah.
Because you go by Dangote. So you want to know if the company and GPG, if that is a subsidiary of Dangote.
It's possible.
And so all of a sudden, GPG realize you're going in Nigeria, so GPG go down there and jam you. It just so happened that that Dangote say interested in buying Grenadian crude around the same time you go by.
Right.
These things are them
so much
like Harry Potter.
Yeah, a lot of answers.
All the time Dangote just say nothing about buying Grenadian oil. As you go down there and GPG and them enter into some argument, you hear Dangote say you go buy Grenadian crude. And you're pretending to the Grenadian public you don't know what's going on. But all lies will be exposed. All,
because it's very important. And you know, a couple of days I made a call for the Honorable Governor General to demit office, to resign, in light of what was done, in my view, to her, right, with the throne speech and the timeline, by making her make those statements, knowing well that you already have access to the documents, right? That is deceiving. It is very much deceiving to her and to the Grenadian people, because you're basically trying to make the Governor General lie, right? If people don't understand as to the speech that is being read was written by you, the Prime Minister, and your people in cabinet, and was given to the Governor General to read. You understand? And once people understand that, they will know some of the... it is so not nice to have our stateswoman, right, basically lying to cover up mischief by this present government. And that is not the right thing to do. That's why I call and I ask for her. And if she's not listening, somebody might tell her to get out of there, because they will continue to embarrass you, ma'am. Right? With their lies, they will frustrate you. So resign before they get a chance to put in the deputy to the Governor General. Please, I beg of you, right? Because it is not nice for them to be knowing fully well that the documents for oil and gas was in front of them. But yet for all, they decided to concoct, that falsehood to make people believe that all of that was a farce, calling on the former government ministers and the opposition leader to show them where the documents is and everything like that. That is so not nice. And we'll get to the bottom of it, And I mentioned this timeline. I would definitely investigate much more and come up with something.
Tillman Thomas. You see how what? Grenada NNP is like, you call them the mob?
Yeah.
So the mob boss know the oil. You don't say nothing.
No, you say nothing. And that is surprising, that Tillman Thomas is very silent when it comes to all these things, right? Anything that the NNP put their hands on when in their reign, for him it was corruption.
You might get by too, you never know.
Well, of course, you understand. And the thing is, he just continue to oh man, sometimes for a big man, sometimes I can't understand. You understand what he will be saying and everything like that. He's not being objective. He's just continuing to toe a line because you're not in favor of Dr. Mitchell as a politician, or you don't like him. But everything that the NNP put their hands on, he is one of the persons that consider it to be corrupted.
But what is instructive to note, when they ask the Prime Minister about corruption, he invoked the term morality again.
Yes, morality.
He says the opposition has no moral standing. And friends, morality simply means the ability to determine what is wrong or right.
Exactly.
But he also said morality is private.
The private issue.
So to him, always saying all corruption to him, that is nothing. Because he accustomed with his practices from since then he came into the prime ministership with these practices in his back pocket. So to him, is nothing wrong.
He's a customer.
And that is why we demand that he call election, Devon.
Most definitely.
He has to call election and get a fresh mandate.
His government is in disarray, right? You do not know most of the rules, right, of government. Look at so much things is happening, and you find that most of the ministers, they quiet or they on a gag order. And the Prime Minister
they get by already, man.
Yeah, the Prime Minister for the last month was the one going around, even explaining or trying to explain some of the functions, right, of the different ministries and ministers, right? No confidence at all with the people below him, especially the elected MPs. He's continued to treat them like stepchildren, right? But I remember back in the 90s, Francis Alexis piloted a bill, a child is a child, right? So Mr. Prime Minister, stop treating your MPs as the stepchildren and not the legitimate parliamentarians that they are.
I have a different view. Is the asphalt. If they want to take it because of money, Let do them what they want.
Well, of course, money.
I don't sorry for them.
No, it's not being sorry. I don't sorry for them neither.
Treat them so.
You see, because if they
They
decide...
don't have the testicular fortitude. Because they sitting in corruption and they don't taking no advice from them. They know the advice that coming from Richard, Cole, and Teddy and Andrea. They know where the advice that coming from. No advice from them. But they sit there and they allow the Prime Minister to grandstand. They say, school children say he had some breakfast in Mount Morris.
He usually does, I think, every month.
They say he go up there the helicopter again. I don't know, school children say that. They send in all kind of photo.
They send Lucian helicopter?
I don't know, they send in all kind of photo.
Because I know you see how he send Lucian friend, Prime Minister, is the one that, have access to...
The receipts is out.
Yeah.
When you move up there with the helicopter, the receipts is out. Now I tell you, the guy, he too full of himself.
What disturbs me on a daily basis is the kind of things that this Prime Minister and his government is doing, and the consequences of all this garbage and shit that they are doing, right, is the suffering of the Grenadian people. Right? Suffering.
Some people correct me, he did not go with a helicopter, so he stand corrected.
Okay.
So the information that was all that he went up with a helicopter
is untrue.
Some people say it's not, somebody say it's not true.
Okay, so then...
And we don't want to spread untruths.
Yeah. So we cease.
Yes. But Devon, the issue of the economy, what is the true economic reality of the country, Devon? Because I ask these questions against the backdrop of one, the proposed late budget, and there's nothing illegal in reading a budget later, and persons to understand that. However, circumstances leading to that could be questioned. Some time ago, your parliamentary representative made a bold pronouncement and spoke to the current account balance. And even you, say somebody spoke to you and how you explain the current account balance, you had your little thing. Anyways.
Because... Anyhow, I don't want to go into that and say certain things I don't have facts on.
Leave that there.
Yeah.
So I want you to play the clip with Mr. Lennox and Joey about the surplus and the current account balance, I think. Because in all fairness, at the end of the day, we must be fair in our discussion.
We have to.
In fact, Mr. Speaker, I would even go further. From a pure economic point of view and a pure economic analysis point of view to indicate the performance of government. If I had my way, I will introduce a new performance indicator in addition to what is there in the bill. And that one is referred to as the current account balance. And the current account balance is the difference between your current revenues and your current expenditure. And your current revenues are your tax revenues and your non-tax revenues. Yeah? And I've already explained what is your current expenditure. When you subtract your current revenues from the current expenditure, you obtain your current account balance. Mr. Speaker, that current account balance, from our numbers I would have recollected, has always been positive, and it as high as 5% of gross domestic product, which means that we have millions of dollars, which means that the government and our government has been able to collect enough revenue, tax and non-tax, to pay wages and salaries, to pay goods and services, to pay interest payments, and to pay transfer and subsidies, and still have a lot of money left. We call it a surplus. And that surplus could go directly, if you so desire, go directly into meeting your capital needs. Good? It could go directly into meeting your capital needs.
Well, me candid, they too wicked, far too crooked. That is your frequent comment I hear.
So Igwe and Devon, is there a new performance indicator? Because the one he spoke to, he indicated that the current account balance always been positive, and even ventured to say 5% of GDP. Now the question is, what is the present status of the current account balance? Is it still positive? Because in the media report, we recognize that there's a drop in grants. So, the question is, if there's a drop in grants, is that the reason for reading the budget late because funding of the budget is not readily available?
I think they're looking for funding for the budget. Because
is there an issue in finding funding for the next budget? So listen to this. Was that one of the reasons the Prime Minister went to Nigeria to look for funding from the investor Dangote? So that is why we ask, what does Dangote want in return? Because we hear the thing about crude oil mentioned. So that's why we're asking, what was the negotiations? Because all these things are them intertwining. So are you waiting for the fulfillment of promises from that gentleman or other investors before you read the budget? Because you don't want to present a deficit budget. But Lennox and you say always positive. So has the drop in grant negate the positivity of the current account balance?
And I would even ask the question in the, not just in my view, the whole question of grants that can cause that as you said, right, that you're asking, but I'm also asking to support you in that. Is it because of the high paying salaries of this government that they cannot sustain? Because we have seen
the recurrent expenditure.
Because we have seen over the last 2 years, the amount that is being spent when it comes to support salaries. That, I'm just saying, that can have an impact on where it is, because you continue to spend, and there is nothing coming in, then you definitely have a problem.
So we need to know what is the real reason.
Yeah, we need to know from
for
him.
the late budget.
Yeah.
So from January 1st until the budget, what provisions are there?
Well, I guess they may be.
Will Grenada be on autopilot?
Or the supplementary will be still in effect?
Well, the supplementary will also go up until the 31st of December, that they say.
Of December, right, so, wow.
And the question you asked, Devon, how much is the recurrent expenditure of government?
Skyrocket.
Is it a challenge presently for you? Or is it that's why we have not seen any original capital projects?
Yeah, new projects.
Well, I feel Dennis Cornwall could answer them thing on him.
Yeah,
so Dennis, make the math smart.
Yeah.
Don't get vexed today. Just make the math smart.
Please, we need information.
These are the things the people want to know, Dennis. So are you finding the right way to do wrong things. So then it's make the maths for us, please. Because those questions that we're asking is not political questions.
No, that's bread and butter questions. You know? And I continue to say, in answering these questions or giving justification, the Prime Minister continued to use lawyer tactics. Lawyer, liar. Because in trying to explain these things...
So he come with the helicopter in Mount Morris breakfast.
No, they say that's not true.
Video.
Gates, they say that's not true.
They're not true. So I seen that.
Gates, don't argue with me on that.
I seen that.
And so there's a lot of questions to be continued asking when it comes to where does Grenada economic situation stands. Are we in serious trouble? Are we being? It is being repeated. Is the whole situation of the 2008-2013 scenario is being repeated in our country, where government may eventually have to be selling its assets to upkeep the high salaries and so? I mean, you need to explain to us, Mr. Prime Minister. I know that you're not an economist, right? And so, but there are people around you who you can use to satisfy the Grenadian public, when it comes to that. Because too many questions are being answered as to where we go from here. First, no, we have the cancellation of the budget, which is not illegal. Yeah. Right? But it's just late. You put it off. You put it off for a later date. But for what reason? And you continue to use the reason of burial. Right? And that cannot satisfy the Grenadian people. There has to be more answers.
Burial is the equalizer. Gates. The Prime Minister drove up to Mount Morris and got a flyover with a helicopter.
What?
He drove up to Mount Morris and got a flyover with a helicopter. So the whole thing. We are receipts for that. He
drove up to Mount Morris.
And he took a flyover with the helicopter.
He took a ride.
Yeah, so don't say, we can't say he go up with the helicopter. We shouldn't say that.
So the helicopter met him there?
What is the situation with the garbage burning in Carriacou, Devon?
Yes, I'm hearing a situation where...
was it by design? Was it mischievous?
Or was it calculated something by...
Or is it... the people are saying enough is enough? I don't know.
Yeah. So we have to wonder, we have to investigate. I hope we can get answers, because it can be deliberate by either someone who's just trying to be, vindictive or the case may be, or it can be deliberate by agents of this government. I'm not putting nothing past this government to sidetrack and to distract people from what is going on, especially in Carriacou, right? Because they will create incidents, different things to happen to not let people pay attention to the housing situation that the people of Carriacou is going through. So I don't put anything past them. They are capable of doing that. They have persons within their ranks who I know can and will do it by any means necessary to satisfy their own ego and to remain, to make it a political football. So I'm not putting anything past them, but we need to find out.
A flight school has been launched by one of the prominent families in the area, because we don't want to put out misinformation. And he was given a flyover. So we don't beating up on that. But the situation, Devon, is simply this. There's too much incident to cause discord.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister has to take the blame, because he said he is the one to sell Grenada.
The biggest seller of Grenada.
Even before he became Prime Minister, he was in Tivoli. And people was asking him, one gentleman asked him, who would be your messenger? And he said, I will be my messenger. So when the credit comes and he takes the credit, when the bad things come, he have to be accountable.
Of course he have to. Because he's the biggest seller, he's a promoter. I and me. He's not saying Grenada, or the thing, he. So it's an individual thing.
So some people believe that we are getting less grants simply because how this government is operating. One, the salaries as you speak to, and then they could take 20-something million to frolic for independence. All this weekend he had frolicking.
All this weekend. And to take money and
money could go in GDB and government ministers could. So the other people saying, well, why must I give them with taxpayers' money to make stupidness?
And open blatant corruption in Lotto. And nobody, Prime Minister, saying there is no corruption.
So Lotto, after all has been said about the chairman of the board of directors, I think the manager, and who rain falling on governor is not my business. I don't know dog in the race. But the alleged corruption continues. And based on the integrity in public life, even the perception of corruption is a problem.
And statutory bodies.
So the Prime Minister saying who do have the moral authority and who are the moral authority to question corruption, even the perception of corruption. But that he should know that because he's the brightest law in town. The all-knowing, the great Obnogo, I didn't thought he would not know that.
And statutory bodies are not immune from the integrity in public life law.
So if the gentleman was alleged to was practicing corruption, and we go through the whole thing with the LACO business, Mr. Lacret, and check still signing for him company and it by himself, and this kind of thing.
And
the Prime Minister at this stage should have the sense to know, because one time when they jam him about CBI and cabinet, he say about recusal. So now is the time, Prime Minister, to recuse yourself from this Lotto thing. And let an independent inquiry be conducted. You can, everybody know you and the man is friend from long. And
his chief of staff is a former magistrate.
And even the chief of staff can take part in that Lotto.
Exactly.
Because allegation pointing you way to.
Concerning Lotto.
And the very practice or perception of corruption. So Prime Minister, you must do better. That is not one you could do answer about and talk about need to know.
You can't wiggle away from
because the thing out of the people's money is being collected. And the use
of it, because you can be asking ordinary Grenadians to invest in a scheme for sports and culture, and then you have blatant corruption where men basically taking money for services that they're not supposed to. I mean, come on, that's too much. And you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Something has to be done.
Some inquiry, independent, must be held into the National Lottery Authority.
That's strike two, GDB is one. Lotto is the second one. Two powerful institutions set up by government is being, railroaded and dig into in its finances by persons associated with this government, ministers and chairman and so forth, statutory bodies. And nobody is being accountable. No answer is being given. Right? How that can happen? Grenadians, what is going on? We just sit down and allowing this thing to happen and not question and query and make noise of it. Myself and Master Carl and the other few people on the platforms talking and giving you information. It is time for you, the Grenadian people, to dig for yourself. Right? Because if there is so much of corruption in Lotto, I would urge Grenadians who support Lotto to cut it out. And I'm being frank about it. Because if the Lotto is designed for sports and culture to support our sportsmen and women, right, and cultural practice within our country, and you have a few people who is digging into the monies that the Grenadian people is putting into there by playing the different games of the Lotto, and there is no accountability, something has to be wrong. Why should we continue to support Lotto, right, when only a few is benefiting and not the thousands of students and so who are involved in sports and culture? You know how much money that has been, ciphered along that could go directly to the schools and to organizations to support sports and culture? And the Prime Minister is the one saying that there is no corruption? Come on, man. That is too blatant. And we sit here doing nothing.
So we demand that a inquiry independently be held into the National Lottery Authority. Anything short of that is unacceptable.
Can't work. It's too blatant.
So if people believe that a statement was made that if all they want to come in Brooks and go out Brooks, that's all your business.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're hearing unemployed people allegedly have accumulated over $600,000 already something.
In 2 years. Net, Not gross, net.
So what is the economic reality?
The Golden Boys and the
What
Golden
is the
Girls.
economic reality of the economy of Grenada?
That's $1 million question.
Because we ask these questions against the backdrop that you're making so much money in CBI.
Yeah.
You're collecting money. Lennox and you say you are surplus.
Yeah. And what is
current account balance.
And what is interesting, have we ever known of what was done with the 100 million US borrowed from Saudi Arabia?
Saudi for climate thing, we don't know.
Huh? What projects are being realized or what the government is doing and utilizing that money that, we can't see? 100 million US.
But the biggest concern there and still remains. When the Prime Minister was asked about corruption, he said kettle telling bun panny black.
Yeah.
And he don't have no more authority. He never deny him.
He can't deny. Look at your thing. Oh my. Bun pot. What? A cool pot telling bun potty black? Imagine that. The Prime Minister could utter those words. Embarrassing. Our Prime Minister could stoop so low. Not denying, but making a fun of it. The Grenadian people. Understand? That's the best Mitchell for you. The best Mitchell for some of you all. Take that. And it's that for all you. You understand? Question him now.
Igwe, we go start to take calls as we go along now.
Question the best Mitchell about some of the foolishness that he's condoning within his government.
They want statutorization of the hospital. Now, is the government embarking on statutorization of the hospital just to say when people complain about health is not me?
Mm-hmm.
Or
responsibility.
They're really doing that to fix it. Let's take a call.
Hey, good afternoon, Igwe. Good afternoon, Mr. Carl.
Hey,
Devan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend.
Devan, Mr. Carl, we all citizens of Greater Carriacou Pitmati. Our neighbor string bearer here. And the people of Greater Carriacou Pitmati elect six candidates in the last election. We one drum sheet. So we have 5. And the MPs, they have a right to question the government over the corruption that's taking place. Each and every one of us, as citizens of Grenada, we have a right to question the government about the corruption that is taking place in Lato office, Graves and Concrete, in Grenada Development Bank. We have a right. And the Prime Minister should answer to that. Right? And when you look upon the corruption that's taking place within the government, that never used to happen with NNP administration. No test when NNP was government. You never find you have ministers jumping in the Grenada Development Bank and taking loans, big loans, while the Prime Minister sanctioned. Corruption taking place in Grenada Lato office. And a minister who investigate the matter of corruption and the found corruption is big in Grenada in the Lato office. And because of that, the Prime Minister get rid of him from his administration. Look again in Gravel Concrete, the corruption is taking place again, right? So it comes out like the corruption is the head cornerstone under this administration, and the head cornerstone of the one head there is the Prime Minister. Okay, he sanctioned and he blessed corruption, right? He blessed it. So when we talk about morality, we have a right to question and to ask him about the corruption that is taking place. So when you say about the action and no morality, tell the Prime Minister he had to go back and think and go back and think and try to solve people. Okay, he said he's solving the country people's distinction. I don't know what is this. I understand what is distinction, but the Prime Minister know what is distinction. Okay, yes, he may be educated, but I feel he misquoting what. When you say solving the distinction, you have to make sure that you see every ministry function properly. You as the head of the cabinet, that the people that are working there, they should work and work with honesty and work for the benefit of the people of Carriacou and Peter Martinique, not for the benefit of a few. What I want to say to the people of Carriacou and Peter Martinique, there comes a time, the man will reign, but he will reign forever. And I want to say to people, when you're going up, you will meet some coming down. But make sure when they inform you, when you're coming down, the same people that you meet going down. And you try to keep down there. When you come down, you want them to hold you up, and they will leave you follow hard. So that's what I have to say.
So, Carla,
hello.
In the same breath, we have to do the work.
Yes, that's true.
And don't get distracted from the work.
I know. I'm doing that. I know.
And don't let the words of the National Democratic Congress divide us.
No, Chairman, I think, Mr. Carl.
Just my word of advice. Yes. I told it out not to you,
yeah, I know.
But to general.
Generally. And that was
so let people understand the work has to be done.
True.
And don't be distracted and don't turn on one another like serpent.
No, we have to stay united.
All right, take it, Carl.
Stay united. Have a good day.
Devon, you know oil and gas is a national security issue?
It is.
And don't you know if it is not handled in the right way or negotiations or deals making the back door could hamper our nation, the economy and national security?
Yeah.
That is why I'm speaking so much about the issue. My issue, we know Eli get jammed. We know Eli about the information, but going forward, because politics is forward thinking, no matter all what you do in the past, is what you could do going forward. So how we treat it going forward. Now, we could speak to corruption in Lotto, or the possible corruption. The whole issue about the oil and gas, the allowance to ministers paying teachers, taking the 150 from the less fortunate,
GDB.
making the GDB, making the people in Carriacou go, all that is issues of corruption we could speak to. But we yet to hear what corruption NNP did from the NDC, because the one about shrimp farm don't work.
At all.
The Prime Minister himself debunked oil and gas, so they're not a ace they have up their sleeve again. So what is the corruption NNP did? So asking the whole of the office of Prime Minister to tell the nation two things. To corruption. Although I expected corruption with NDC, because one, lack of institutional knowledge, two, they were arrogant, three, inexperienced, and four, they greedy. But I didn't expect it
to be so blatant.
No, I didn't expect it. So it surprised me.
Would be beyond control.
Yeah,
you see, and it's the kind of persons that you get, you see. And the Prime Minister made a statement in one of his wrongs, and so he said that within his cabinet or his colleagues, there are 15 of them, 15 bright colleagues, well educated. You understand? And my God, and that's is well, I guess it's well educated people that get involved in corruption. Well, and he defend them. He said, look, I'm in support of my cabinet ministers. Right? They do the work and they do this. They are not corrupted. I mean, what else again that we waiting to hear our Prime Minister say for we don't believe him?
Like I always say, he said, and he quoted somebody in the Far East, I think it's either Indonesia or one of them, and said, if you want government on the cheap, you go pay them on the cheap. So that was one of the reasons he tried to justify the 2,000 and the 5,000. But you also forgot the same gentleman say everybody should be speaking one language, English. And everybody ought to, you have to get the right set of persons to put in any particular position. You forgot in that part. The RGPF, they continue to complain how this present administration is handling the force. Good afternoon, Ricardo Daniel. And we call on the government to do something for the betterment of the RGPF. Because it's you who mash it up. It is believed that it will take at least 5 years to try to fix back what is going on in the RGPF. And that is something very, very sad.
And you talk about the RGPF. You know, it's a burning issue that most of us in Grenada are concerned about. What our officers are doing, how are they being protected, right? And what is being given to our police officers to make them more comfortable. But we have seen in the last 2 years, right, what this government has brought our security forces to, right? First of all, the Prime Minister and his colleagues talk about there is no succession plan. I mean, how embarrassing for a Prime Minister and the man in charge of national security to be saying that.
But ask him what he has done. If he believes there's no succession planning, what has he done?
To put in place.
And here what has he done? Bring back some retired persons who did not serve with distinction.
Yeah. We can understand if you bring back persons that serve with distinction and was successful in everything. But
and we're hearing now they want to bring back mom and them again on contract. That's what he's doing for succession planning. Which to me is a whole heap of hogwash in his words.
Well, you can speak with authority when it comes to the police because you have been there, done that for a number of years.
So I call on the Attorney General, because in the Sheldon Scott issue, she was boldly saying she instructed persons to investigate.
Yeah.
Because information suggests that when Mr. Lacret voiced his concern about Lotto. Blessed assurance was given to him. Information suggests that an investigation will be conducted by yourself, Attorney General, and the Prime Minister. That is the information suggests.
Wow, both of them.
But the gentleman in Lotto continue to do what he is accused of doing.
Up until this point, he still remains chairman of the board.
So the Attorney General should lose she work.
I think she lost her job
What
already.
legal advice are you giving to the cabinet and government of Grenada, Senator Claudette Joseph? What?
Wait, I was about to ask you if you're talking about Senator Joseph or you're talking about Miss Sen Bernardo.
No, Senator.
No. Why I say that? Because if you notice, the treasurer is always up there. So when it comes to legal advice, and so I think the Prime Minister will listen to her more than he listens to the Attorney General. You understand? Because she's of no use to them at this point in time. You know, it's amazing how you can use people and turn them around. It's amazing, right? How the best Mitchell can turn out to be the most deceitful Mitchell we have ever seen in this country. You know, and that is it's so damning for the National Democratic Congress, all right? To present someone with such quote unquote high esteem, and when they get there, you see they pile of garbage and rubbish and mess that they continue to lead over, right? And you know, let me let you all know, Grenadians just only take things for a while, you know, only for a while, you know, right? Because now you see our people starting to wile up, starting to read more and pay attention about some of the foolishness that is going on in government, right? And you will see the results very soon. You will see the results of that, because the nonsense that is going on, right? The deceiving and the lying, not paying of the teachers, and so from the school feeding program, continue to lie about. Understand? And these are things that are bread and butter issues. We talk about them because they affect people who do not have a voice. We are their voices. We are the ones that will continue to champion their cause. Because when they cry out, we cry out too. Right? We see and feel their pain. So it is our duty as persons that have the opportunity to air, right, our voices, to speak about these issues that affect the poor and the marginalized, right? Like the cleaners in the schools who are being told that they are not qualified for the minimum wage.
Yes.
What is going on? When they are being, imagine that, cleaners who come in the morning and still come back in the evening and leave 8 and 9 o'clock in the night sometimes. They are being told that they are not qualified for the minimum wage. Well, what is the minimum wage right now? I mean, government tell me, you still treating the bushers, right, under the minimum wage. Big grown ass men and women. You have them cutting on the side of the road, and you still paying them under the required minimum, under the required rate. And you are the government. You set the standard. What is going on? But you can hire every month, you can hire different people and pay them thousands of dollars. And hold position that they knows nothing about. Get real. Time for you guys to get real. The reality catching up on you all. You know, you continue to treat our people like dust. You understand? You have no regard for them. You consider them not. You consider the elderly not. The persons who are suffering, who need the assistance. When last has the government paid attention to the high price of goods on the shelf? When last? Good afternoon and welcome.
The
the voice of one crying out in the wilderness.
Cry out, Pastor. Cry. Bawl if you can.
Called Igwe Devon.
Bawl if you can, Pastor.
Devon, Romain, you just made a statement, and I have been saying that for the longest time, and I need to endorse you on the statement that you had made a couple seconds ago. Do not take the Grenadian people for granted, Mr. Deacon Mitchell. God made Grenadian people different to the rest of people that he made. That is the reason why George Brizan de Seas was to written that book, Grenada, the Island of Conflict.
Yeah.
And I've been saying for the longest while to Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, sir, do not, I repeat, do not take the Grenadian people for fools. They are very intelligent and no nonsense set of people. Mr. Deacon Mitchell, you get into office by deception because you knew that you have your agenda. You knew that you have no love for the NDC party. You knew that you is not a member of the National Democratic Congress. You use the party of the NNC to launch your agenda, sir. That makes you a hypocrite. You become a wolf in sheep clothing. You came into office by lying, notorious lie, and the people fall for that. The Imani fall for the prominent. The Imani they fall for the stroke of a pen. You lie so much, sir, and you knew that you was lying. But you didn't care because you wanted was to come in because you have an agenda. But Mr. Deacon Mitchell, sir, the very set advisor that you have in the diaspora, these are the very said advisor from the RMC. That was the very said advisor who were in Grenada before all the trouble with Maurice Bishop and the overthrown by the American. But these are the very said advisor now that was saying down to imperialism. Mr. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, the very said advisors that you have now that was saying down to imperialism, and let them come, we go bury them in the sea. But that is the very said advisors that you have, and they're living in the bowl of imperialism. They're married in the bowl of imperialism. They're educating the children in the bowl of imperialism. But they sit down in the bowl of imperialism and advising you. Sir, I am telling you, the Grenadian people already discovered, sir, the deceptive person that you are. And as a result of that, you had lost the support of lots of your supporters. And I want to let you know, sir, that pressure does burst pipe. And there are information to suggest, Mr. Prime Minister, your problem is your mouth because you talk too much. There are information to suggest that you said to people that once the oil and gas come into being, there is nobody in Grenada to move you out of office. Sir, careful when you dare wrong people. What you saying as a young man, you talk too much. You must engage your brain before you put your mouth in gear. Grenadians going to turn against you, and it's going to be bitter. I rest my case. Thank you.
Wow. Bless evening, Pastor.
Serious pronouncement there, you know.
Very serious pronouncement. And I should add to Pastor, Imani, beware.
The Imanis?
The Imanis, I put you on notice. The Imani,
They never loved the Imanism.
the Imani program is about to crash. They
Again?
are about to lock it down and close it out permanently. Right? Don't just take my word here for it here today. But you Imanis, pay attention to what is going on within that youth ministry. Listen and be careful, because you don't want to be the ones crying. They will treat you like they treat you in the 2008 cycle of NDC. Right? They are about to crash and mash up and destroy and disband the Imani program, and have receipt for it.
After promising them
To give them permanent
as soon as.
with the stroke of a pen.
Serious?
Mm-hmm.
They want to say they deepen.
Very deep. Young people, pay attention. Pay attention to your business.
Wow.
Do not be fooled by some of the things dangling around you, because they are about to rip your employment from under you. I say no more.
You have to let them know.
I say no more. Pay attention. Don't let us here alone do the work. We share, we give you the information that we hear. You investigate for yourself and prove us wrong, prove me wrong. What I'm saying here today.
Wow, Devon. That's some heavy bricks you drop there.
They are about to treat the young people like they did them in the 2008-13.
But so what political advantage would they get by doing that, Devon?
None. Nothing. They figure that when they dangle in front of the young people all the loans that they have in GDP and the different programs that they trying to, all sorts of fancy things. But they do not want to tie the money to government. They do not want to take up responsibility in ensuring that our young people are being managed properly. They are running from that responsibility. So they are letting them go loose to fend for themselves. Who get through with a loan in GDP, get through. Who get through with a little job of financing from government, get through. But the others will pay a hefty price. Mark my words.
Wow. They want to drop in some bombs there,
I have to. I couldn't hold it, because I got that from reliable source. You understand? I have to put the young people on warning. Because today, you might have a job. Remember, pay attention. The budget has not yet been read. You may find yourself where there is no allocation under the Ministry of Education or Youth and Sports for the Imani program.
Ooh. They want heaviness,
God be the glory.
That brings us to unfulfilled promises, Devon.
Yeah, so much of them.
What are the main attraction? Was the promises made to people like the Imanis, contract work?
Yeah. And the cooks and the cleaners and the,
minimum wage.
Yeah.
What is happening now, Devon?
I up to now, I'm because what, as I mentioned earlier on, look at what they are doing to this, even the bushers and the cleaners. The cooks, yes, I understand that they are being regularized, and bring them up to 1,200 or what the case may be, But look at all that these things are being done to. The persons that needs the job more. The persons that does service or provide services that is needed by the core of our society, our children. Imagine the cleaners and so that have to go every day, morning and evening, to keep the schools clean, right? So our children could remain healthy. They find it hard to upgrade their salaries. What a shame. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon to Mr. Devon Romain. Good afternoon to Master Carl Zibwe.
Hey, afternoon, my dear.
Yes, and good afternoon to Patricia Arthur Campbell in Canada, Matthew, Mr. Watts, Miss Yolande Hosford. Good afternoon to everybody who's listening to this program. Well, I tune in since all you come on, eh? And Master Carl, you spoke, you give a whole lecture about the agreement about the oil and the document. But Master Carl,
Yay.
if you are listening to Mr. Gregory Bowen, Mr. Gregory Bowen is the one that tells the Prime Minister, Dr. Michel, where the document is in the office, in the complex, in a safe, well sealed. And he said him and called him and asked him for help. Deacon Mitchell called Gregory Bowen when he's staying in his house and asked him for help. And Mr. Bowen go down there, get the permanent secretary. That was the former permanent secretary to work with him to get the document for Mr. Deacon Mitchell. That is the thing about the oil. And Mr. Boyne said he went down there. But he had to break the safe. He break it. Right? I had the clip because I taped somebody interviewing Mr. Boyne and talking point. And Mr. Boyne said that he should have go to the Grenadian people and apologize to him for the pain and suffering he put him through and his family, because they say he go with it, he hide it, he destroy it. And Deacon Mitchell told Mr. Boyne that he's sorry he put him through that pain. Mr. Boyne explained everything. I mean, a big man as Mr. Boyne, he go come and talk to the world and tell no lie. I don't believe he go, because all what he explained to the world, the world listen to that, So I don't understand how he could tell the people he didn't know, he didn't have no document, and all the time they had it. He just said, come out and say, well, look, I called Mr. Boyne and he asked for help. Because Mr. Boyne said his secretary, he get in touch with her. Mr. Boyne has his facts. He get in touch with her. Let them know where it is. And they found it, they break it. He break the safe where it was. And he got that. But they tell people that the people lie. The NSC people lie, they didn't have no oil, and they didn't have this and they didn't have that. So, for me personal, I don't listen to Dick Mitchell, and none of the ministers and them when they speak. Anytime they come on the television, I just turn them off. I don't listen to them. I don't listen to Ken Bow when they have them, they call it trial with any one of them interviewing. I don't listen. I don't interested in what they have to tell nobody because they telling lies. I don't have time for that at my age. Them can keep my own head. Concerning they say he was in Mount Morris since morning, the helicopter passing all by us. Yeah, low. I see that. I say, well, what's going on? Because I've been downstairs. I went downstairs by my place to clean me out because somebody come and rake me out for me. And that thing was low. So if somebody tell all you he was in Mount Morris, maybe it's true because Mount Morris is right by me here. And they had this thing flying low. So I even say maybe they might be taking pictures with what they're doing by here. I don't know. I'm not interested in nothing they're doing. What they're doing here because they bad mind. I'm very disappointed in Mr. Duncan and them. I'm very, very disappointed with Richard Duncan and them. I know this guy when I was the caretaker in the Ministry of Finance. And none of these people cannot tell the Prime Minister that they're going the wrong way, they're doing the wrong things. I mean, most of the ministers, some of them, they have a family, they marry, they have children. What kind of example? What kind of example they setting for the children, them young men and young girls they have to lie get a man or the boyfriend, to lie to people at the job? They have to do better than that. They have to do better than that. It's really sad. I listened to the Mr. Grimes, and he explaining to what's going on. I listened to the teacher guy. Again, some of the teachers, he said they don't get their pay. So I don't know who to believe. I don't know what is going on in this country. I don't know. It is really sad is what's going on out here. Up to now they can't open the road. We catching the royal. So long they said they have to that road, open that road. Where we live in bushes, you up there. The road where they think, I don't know what's going on. And nobody not saying anything. I tired with this kind of thing going on out here. I tired. First time I experienced this kind of thing. And then Nazim and them, well, that was small thing. But now, everybody, I just take some people, to hear how they're crying. They're crying out, But they deserve what they get. Because they tell you when you're in good house, bad house calling you. And when Mr. Deacon Mitchell as the Prime Minister say he's selling Grenada, he don't sell Grenada. He can't sell Grenada. Kirani already sell Grenada first. When he win that goal. Countries that never know about Grenada get to know about Grenada.
What?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He had some countries that never know about Grenada, never heard. But when Kirani run that race, the Jaguar, and he win that gold medal, a lot of other countries get to know about Grenada in the Caribbean. So, Mr. Dickie Mitchell, you don't sell Grenada.
Come last.
Irani James already sell that country for us. So you have to stop that. And I'm sorry for you, because you get yourself involved with this Nigerian and the Russians, but you don't know what trouble you put yourself in. You put yourself with the wrong set of people. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Anyhow,
right.
I want to patter you all, and all who vote for you all, let it take what they get. Let it take what they get. The money and them, I don't strive for you. Are you getting, are you look $700 side then? Are you go get permanent? Deacon Mitchell is not listening to nobody. You all could cry from now till the ending of the world. He will not apologize to nobody. He's not bothered with you all. He doesn't even want to walk the street. You see, he's only playing flying. He's playing it. Just in Montgomery's Day, they have him this morning flying all over Busheju. He doesn't want to walk. He don't want to walk.
You like to fly.
He don't want to meet people. He don't want to shake Grenadians' hand. He don't want to hear your problem. He's not going to apologize to the Grenadian people. He don't care. He's good for you all. What are you getting? Let me suffer. I'm suffering already. I am suffering. And I could die any time. I make up my mind. Because he didn't have no betterment in this country. He have no betterment. Betterment incoming. Forget about that.
Alright, Sister
Carl. Do what you want. And Devon,
Yes, my
I'm
dear.
trying to get Miss Cheryl number.
I try my best, but I can't get a number, no?
Well, she just call.
Yeah.
If she call,
Well, she
give
listening.
her my...
She listening.
I know she listening.
Yeah.
It's very important. I don't want to do what I suppose. I don't want to do nothing wrong. I'm trying to be a good person.
No, don't worry. I will.
If she call, give her the number
Yes,
for me.
I will.
And thank you very much for the call. I do appreciate it.
Don't worry yourself.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, darling.
Have a blessed evening.
You too.
And KV, Mr. KV Bullal, good afternoon, sir, wherever you is. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I wonder what sort of example our prime minister and some of these youthful government ministers are setting, you know, for our young ones. You know, dishonesty, deceiving, lying. I mean, all sorts of things, corruption. Is this what you want to teach our young people? Is this what you get into office to do? To show the young people how you can allegedly get away with corrupted practices and so? Is that what you really out there to do? I mean, shame on you, man.
Our message for the king's son, the RGPF.
Yes.
The protocol for governor generals on the death, the centuries at the casket should be at least the rank of inspectors. But we seen they disrespecting Danny Williams by using corporals. So when we say lack of institutional knowledge, we know what we say. When I tell you they bring back these men and them who never saw with distinction. Added to that, information suggests that he was told so. And he said, go ahead with the corporals. That's what the information suggests.
No regard.
So the king's son, when you go on?
You can't learn again.
So they say the protocol is at least an inspector.
Upwards.
Well, they say they are corporal doing the work. And added to that, information suggests they tell the gentleman no. But you just say go ahead. That is why when the commissioner live in the state, he does leave Randy Connor. You remember your call and ask her that? Mm-hmm. That is the reason they does leave Randy Connor.
So Randy is basically more savvy institutionally wise than the others, the king's son and all of them. I mean, that is so. And I cannot understand how our Minister of National Security could come and talk about not having succession plan in RGPF.
But then what has he done?
Nothing. Because there are officers who should be there still, despite some of them may reach their retirement, but you're looking for the best. You're looking for those who can uphold the institutional values of the RGPF.
Devon.
You're looking for slackers.
Devon. Somebody say, tell Devon, continue talking about the caretakers. All of what he says is true.
Well, look at that. So
I am one and I'm listening.
Thank you very much, caller, because it's a burning issue, you know, not just for you as an individual, but for all of them, right? Because I know the kind of work that these cleaners have to go through.
Someone say, yes, Carl. What Devon is saying have merit. I know some workers now who is on contract. The contract up since August, which includes the Imanis. They have not renewed their contract since August.
Okay. Pay attention, young people. Pay attention. Don't just sit there and allow the government to railroad you all, right, into dismissing and getting rid of you all with some poor excuse. Right? We already know that they do not love that program called the Imani program. That's a fact. So they are trying a second time to destroy that program. And while they are destroying that program, they are destroying the young people. I mean, you know how much thousands of young people that went through this program and are better off today because of the Imani program? The whole, I mean, the way or the deportment, the academic achievements, right? They live their families, I mean, status in society. I know of young people whose family, I mean, was what we usually call poor and not well off. But because of that program, one or two of the children was able to get in. And right now, they have raised the family status in terms of helping to continue the education cycle and showing that they move themselves one notch away from where they were. You understand? These are the benefits of these programs put aside by the previous government to help young people. But this government is bent on destroying it by using all kind of bull story about this and about. They do not love the Imani, the young people of this country, despite of all what they're saying. You see, because they paint everyone with one brush.
So are you calling the young people and the Imanis to come back home? Devon? Well, yeah. Call them. Because you explain the situation to them. So tell them it's time they come back home.
Yeah. I think they're on their way back home, you know. It's just that they have to when they do it, they're making sure that there's nowhere else for them to go or supporting this government, this group of politicians who have continued to deceive. Look, from the very start of this campaign, the young people, the elderly, these two groups of persons, right, and the public workers, three groups, were targeted by this present government during the campaign. They lied to them. They give them false hope and promises, right, about permanent and regularity, stroke of a pen. You understand? All these things, they tell them. And look at what is happening now, 2.5 years going. Let's take that call, Gates. Good afternoon and welcome.
Devon, I will be brief.
Yes, my dear.
Just think for a second. Think for a second, Devon.
Mm-hmm.
If they have intention to send, they won't do that now. Because you know, the election is around the corner. And you go one vote.
They do worse than that.
He will send them home.
They're doing worse than that, Kami. That is boost for them.
I don't think he will send them home.
Well,
I might be wrong.
Let's wait and see.
I might be wrong.
But you know what? I just want to make sure and put the young people
put it out there.
And the Imanis on guard.
Well, yes. But for me, I don't believe he will send them home. Because they realize every zone meeting we have, NNP have, they see the outcome. So he won't send them home now. That boy, I have to watch him. Because they don't want to, they know what the Grenadian people up to.
Right.
Don't send them home.
Okay, my
Just
dear.
think about it.
All right.
But I'm not telling you, don't let them know what's going on. You understand? But we have to watch it. We have to encourage young people to make sure that they name and the list and speak to one another concerning what's going on in the country so they make the right decision whenever they call the election. That is what we have to do. I can walk around. I can go in home. But those who are the good legs, instead of they making hypocrite, meet with people in groups and speak to the young people. Explain to them what is going on in Grenada. Carriacou and Pitty, so they make the right choice. And don't let them take no bribe. No bribe with that $500 and I promise they will give you a work. They have to know what they're about. Have a good evening.
All right, Kami. Yes, let's take the call. Good afternoon and welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Devon, Master Carl.
Yes, good afternoon, my friend.
And Mr. Igwe is there?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay. Yes. I was listening to the board report, and right now I'm confused because based on what I heard, Mr. Carriacou, the Prime Minister is saying something totally different. What he is claiming that he made this statement in Parliament, but everybody was using the throne speech by the Governor General. So I don't know if you all ever heard that he made that statement about no documents of oil and gas in Parliament. I don't know.
So let me stick up in. So hold on, what he saying about the GG?
No, he didn't say anything about the GG. I was saying that in the throne speech, is it GG that said that there is no
information and what DM saying?
DM saying that he made that statement in the Parliament
before the document was found.
Before he get in touch with Mr. Bowen.
Timeline. We have to establish the timelines in terms of
but
when it was said.
He made the statement before he get in touch with Mr. Bowen. Okay. When he got in touch with Mr. Bowen and he break the cabinet and get the documents, why didn't tell the people?
That is the next thing again. But I'm asking, did you all hear him made the statement in Parliament?
I'm not sure if he's in Parliament.
I think some sitting he had, Gates.
Yeah, it's possible. But we will find it.
Gates play it all year round.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's stating now that he don't see no reason why he had to apologize.
Because you lie. He lie on Mr. Bowen. You understand?
That is the reason why he supposed to apologize.
And not only that, based on what the utterance that he and his cabinet colleagues made, they create a scenario where people, as Mr. Bowen said, people were meeting him and his children and talking about they hide documents and they burn documents and everything. That's a serious thing. But again, they love nobody, so no empathy.
I don't know. I just say let me share that piece.
Most definitely. That's a thing that we most have to look at.
Let me tell you something,
my friend.
Let me tell you something. The Prime Minister is a guy that the truth abideth not in him.
Yep.
There are too much instances where we prove him to be not truthful.
To be a liar.
He lie about all the unions, everybody.
Everybody lied on.
So the new slang, Will FM go bring a new slang. Anytime somebody lie for you, mama guy, just say, give them a DM.
Yeah, give them a DM, yes. Give
DM
them a DM.
Stands for either lie or mislead somebody. Sometimes you're lying for somebody, you want to mislead them. Just give them a DM.
Give them a DM. Like you pulling a DM on me there, man.
So he pull a DM on the Bob report too?
He definitely pull a DM on the Bob report. He definitely did.
So give them a DM.
Give them a DM. Oh my God. Basakal, we have come here for the day, and I've not personally extend my empathy and best wishes to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique in their continuous ordeal, right, when it comes to the hurricane, the passage of the hurricane and the situation that they are in at this present time, right? I continue to encourage people to hold strain, do what you can do, even if the government is not forthcoming with help, right? God is good. Help will come, but do not sit and wait on them, because if you sit and wait, you may just wait in vain, right? But just have hope. Those of us who can help, we will help. But it's a shame that we have a government who have resources available to do better in Carriacou is doing what they are doing at this present time. Their priorities are not where it's supposed to be. The well-being interests, the health of the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique is not being championed by this present government. And it's a shame that you people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique have to continue to go through what you are going through now. Housing, health standards, everything, the garbage situation in Carriacou, it's unbearable. The government cannot say that there is not resources available to do all these things. There is resources available to even build back houses. Give the people the ability to build their own houses. That is, look, Grenadians, Carriacouians, Petit Martinique are not the type of people who like to depend on people to do things for them. They like to do it for themselves. We are accustomed to that. We will call our neighbor, let them help us. We have that type of attitude in us. So don't go around telling people how you go build back better without their input. They have to be part of that building back process. Not you who come from the mainland and wherever and dictate to the people of Carriacou what must be done. Consultation. And the people of Carriacou, they are wary. And they are wary of you, Mr. MP, of the attitude you have towards them when it comes to the rebuilding process. You need to stop that. You need to be a kayak. Kakabawi for Kakabawi.
And stop giving the kayak people a DM.
And stop giving them the DM. People of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, I mean, you have a continued wonderful weekend and the days ahead with the struggles that you have to go through.
So my advice is to them, don't sit and wait for help. Struggle and fight to keep the dream alive, because if you don't, they may go continue to give all some DM of the.
Yeah. You will definitely continue getting DM every day, because the MP that you have is no different to its Prime Minister. They like to lie. They surround themselves with untruth.
They just give people the DM, man.
Yeah, giving them the DM every time, right? Try to make things right for people. Make them settle, make them comfortable. We understand that government cannot do it all. That is why you need to meet the people halfway, consult with them. Give them the opportunity to be independent, to build their own, and not for you to dictate to them what must be done for them. They are the ones that is in the situation. They are the ones who are there drinking water in calabash and not rum in calabash. You understand?
You want another DM?
Let's have it.
You have something for me with the gentleman talking about the statutorization and thing. And healthcare and so on.
And the Mount Sinai and everything. We are going to dig deeper into this thing, you know. Give them the DM. Give them the DM. And then you talk. The school triangle starts spreading it. Give them the DM. Because it cannot.
There's a statutory body. Vulnerable people are able to afford water. Grain and Solid Waste Management Authority is a statutory body. It collects garbage. Everybody pays via the environmental levy for the collection of garbage.
So, play that again, Git.
NOASA is a statutory body. Vulnerable people are able to afford water. Grain and Solid Waste Management Authority is a statutory body. It collects garbage. Everybody pays via the environmental levy for the collection of garbage.
So give them the DM now.
They're mischaracterizing what I said. NOASA and electricity. Right. NOASA and electricity really has nothing to do with, in a sense, the healthcare. The point I was making when I talk about, I was simply explaining what statutorization is, and to explain to someone that NOASA is a statutory body, pure and simple.
Give them the, play it again. 31st one. Give them the DM.
Give them the DM. DML, DM.
No, is a statutory body. Vulnerable people are able to afford water. Grain and Solid Waste Management Authority is a statutory body. It collects garbage. Everybody pays via the environmental levy for the collection of garbage.
Hold on. So, they ask him about statutorization and payment for poor people. He says, NOASA is a statutory body. and poor people just pay for the service. Solid waste, Grenelec, and people still paying for it. So, a good friend, the photogenic one, ask him again.
Yeah.
He see, and here the DM.
Mischaracterizing what I said. Now, and electricity. I didn't hear you. Right. Now, and electricity really has nothing to do with, in a sense, the healthcare. The point I was making when I talk about, I was simply explaining what statutorization is, and to explain to someone that NOAS is a statutory body, pure and simple.
But you know where we see that man very worthless when it comes to words and so. When it comes to paying environmental levy, right, for poor people, it's not a choice people have, you know. It's not a choice. We have a choice for water, but we do not have a choice. Poor people don't have a choice in paying the environmental levy. It has been deducted or added on to your electricity bill. So they have a choice. So you see how he being very deceitful when he brings in...
Yeah, man.
I mean, why? Prime Minister, you are a young man. You ain't reached 50 years yet. But in 2 years, you tell about over 2,000 lies to the Grenadian people who... I mean, come on, man.
How Francis just say he lie without compunction.
He lie like when horse trotting.
Play that thing again for people to hear, man.
Yeah, people have to hear that.
They say they are freak of nature.
NOAS is a statutory body. Vulnerable people are able to afford water. Greener Solid Waste Management Authority is a statutory body. It collects garbage. Everybody pays via the environmental levy for the collection of garbage.
See,
probably mischaracterizing what I said. NOAS and electricity. I didn't hear you. Right. NOAS and electricity really has nothing to do with, in a sense, the healthcare. The point I was making when I talk about, I was simply explaining what statutorization is, and to explain to someone that NOAS is a statutory body, pure and simple.
But why tie solid waste?
That DM.
You understand? To that, when you know that we do not have a choice. Poor people don't have a choice in paying environmental levy to collect the garbage. We don't have a choice.
But I don't even go in there. Because the question they ask him, when the thing is statutorized, how poor people will pay. So you try to tell them you have other statutory companies and people paying.
Well, you go
but when a good friend ask him, you see them DM.
Mischaracterize him.
You just drop the DM.
You have to drop the DM on her. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch. We on a hell of a ride with this present Prime Minister and his group of politicians around him.
That is hogwash. Hogwash is the intent to deceive people.
The intent.
So listen to the DM. Let the people hear the DM. Somebody say they want to hear the DM again.
Perhaps they're mischaracterizing what I said. NOAS and electricity. I didn't hear you. Right. NOAS and electricity really has nothing to do with, in a sense, the healthcare. The point I was making when I talk about, I was simply explaining what statutorization is, and to explain to someone that NOAS is a statutory body, pure and simple.
DM, man. Lego the DM. Yo, this guy is a sick. No, he's good. He's good when it comes to deceiving people. He's good.
This guy has to be a psycho.
But you see now, is we the Grenadian people that is allowing him for now to do what he's doing, Right? Because you could say all you want, but not for as long as you want, Because if you think that the Grenadian people going to be always sitting down there and taking all the DM, he lie. He damn lie.
He's a filler.
You understand? He's a deceitful man. And as Prime Minister, shame on you, Mr. Prime Minister. You're the most dishonorable Prime Minister in my view. Right? That passing Grenada, because you deliberately continue to deceive the Grenadian people for your own whims and fancy to benefit you and your ministers. And that is unacceptable.
Play the GG again for me.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear.
Since we have to pay all these levies and it coming on the utility bill, Now, when they statutarize the hospital, the cost of the treatment that you're getting from the hospital and the doctors and whatever,
Might come on with bill too.
it go come on the utility bills too.
You never know. But they're very deceitful. They could do that. They dropping the DM on us. We need to pay attention.
But yeah, because now once I statutarize electricity and all those things with the environmental levy, we pay for all of that. That coming on the utility bill.
Exactly.
So if you statutarizing the hospital, well, therefore, the cost that you have to pay for the services you're getting from the hospital is supposed to come on the utility bill.
What do you go come? You go come. All right, thanks again.
What? And could you imagine? I want to put it in context. You have the clip where you say he could sell Grenada. Let me play that clip. Because I want people to understand
where we going.
What already going on. Let me balance it out with that.
It is my job to be the chief advocate for the beautiful tri-island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And the only way to do that is to leverage me and the office of the Prime Minister to ensure that we can get investors, we can get people interested and talking about Grenada. So with all due respect to the Grenada Tourism Authority and all the advertising, I am the biggest seller of Grenada. So when I go to Nigeria, I'm representing Grenada. Nigerians who never heard of Grenada would have heard of me.
All of this guy don't going on there and lie for the people on it.
Well, if he lying for us, who's
the man lying without compunction? Like when you're growing up with old people, they say, when you lie, you say you're lying like when horse chatting.
But if he lying so blatant for us as a people.
So the seller of Grenada is a man the truth abide that not in?
Yeah.
But Grenada in not in good hands?
Yeah, we in good hands. We not in good hands. We in trouble.
Igwe. So give me the GG, and because I don't know. I don't know if he's so sorry. I don't know if he's so cry for the GG.
Situation is untenable and completely unacceptable, and my government is committed to doing all within its power to unearth the mystery of Grenada's oil and gas status. Comprised of distinguished Grenadians, including Mr. Rodney George, Mr. Richard Duncan, Mr. Raymond Nurse, and the Office of the Attorney General, represented by the Solicitor General, to investigate and to do what it takes to demystify our oil and gas situation.
To demystify. Igwe. So the Prime Minister had all that information and he refused to demystify the oil thing by allowing his cronies and others to continue to lie. Something not wrong with this guy. Somebody asked for the DM again. Igwe, let me give them. Yeah,
perhaps they're mischaracterizing what I said. Nawasa and electricity.
I didn't hear you.
Right. Nawasa and electricity really has nothing to do with, in a sense, the healthcare. The point I was making when I talk about, I was simply explaining what statutorization is, and to explain to someone that Nawasa is a statutory body, pure and simple.
So play the explanation and give us statutorization. Okay? You see, he was explaining what statutorization is. So let's play that one.
NOASA is a statutory body. Vulnerable people are able to afford water. Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority is a statutory body. It collects garbage. Everybody pays via the environmental levy for the collection of garbage.
That is the Prime Minister, the one who says he is the seller. Because I thought after they jam him with the lies on making people permanent and so on, and the unions and things, I say this guy would have learned from by now. But the man get worse, you know. This guy get worse than then. He lies without compunction. So yes, Igwe. So we want to know what is the economic reality of Grenada in terms of the economy? What is the projected growth of the economy? What is the current account balance? Is it positive? What are the issues in financing the budget? What's really going on? Yeah, we take the call. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Carl.
Hey, what's up?
Igwe and I do. What if he is still a Grenada and he better than the tourist boat? Why he's Persuader? I call him Persuader and Gloria, the Attorney General. But she allowing so much lies in the government. I mean, with all wrong things wrong her in her office and all about to resign because she want a character. When she done with election, when election done with her, she wouldn't have a character. She wouldn't even get a case. She had to leave Grenada because she encouraging too much of wrong things, and she know what's going on. And Postweather should hide the case because that is, I mean, come on, that man insulted the tourist board, and the tourist we were supposed to take up a thing with him with that, make them look bad, and he don't realize what he did. And I mean, Grenada taking that just simple like that.
You know just what he doing.
Insulted the people. Huh?
He handcuffed them with $24,000.
Man insulted, he very insulted. I mean, he insulted people in them bad. So he's both supposed to put their head in a bag. Because, I mean, they ain't doing their work. And he boasting himself as a thing. Why you doing them thing for? What fame he looking for? He want the girl with a nice cover. Let me have a good day.
What? I don't know how the Prime Minister will go wiggle their way out of this one, you know. It's like quicksand. And somebody say, help us, Lord, help us. And there are so-called men of God or the women of God among this guy. Like tell us what of them bother find they saying anything. So is it a situation that they are bought out Igwe and they cannot make reference to anything, whether it's wrong or right, and look on as the Prime Minister continue to deceive the Grenadian public Igwe. And that in itself is unfortunate. That is why we ought to be here to advocate for those who cannot do it for themselves, Igwe. And to bring information and facts. Let me take it. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, good afternoon.
How are you, Carl?
Are they here?
Partner, man, your partner.
Yeah.
One.
No, he step out a bit.
Oh, I wanted him to hear, man. But this morning, after I come out to service, I was inside and I heard this helicopter passing. It was about 3 or 4 times, you know.
Okay.
And the time after he was passing, kind of low on the port side down under. So I was wondering, I say, well, probably he escorting the ship that come and get the island gas.
Yeah.
I thought was that, you know. I mean, I want to be honest. I really thought was that. So I said, at this time already. So in any case, after a while, I just see disappear. So I say, I know how far he went, and I didn't look at it. So I don't know where he went. The second one I want to ask you is that, they want to come back already?
No.
All right, listen to me. The second one I want to make. The chairman of Lotto, was he the owner of Catwell's Stationery?
I think that could be the same person.
Listen, me, going on further. Was he ever used to work in gravel and concrete?
I think he did on the board of gravel and concrete.
No. He never used to work in.
No, I don't know.
No, I know a gentleman. Listen, man. I know a gentleman used to work in gravel and concrete, and he was in something, you know. So they were asking the question because I know this name come up good in my brain. So that's the reason why I asked that question. So I was wondering where he used to work before. Is that
Okay, okay.
But in the last point I want to make, after the general election, it should be probably next year. And after the general election, I've made my my decisions already, and I put in some charges there, right? So I give the prime minister might be getting 30, and the other one and them might be getting 15 to 20 years in jail. So
Yeah, somebody say to the question you asked. They say he used to work in gravel and concrete some years ago.
Yeah, that's what I tell you. Listen, I'm sure this is a gentleman. What was in an inquiry? Was an inquiry? I was working in the inquiry. That time the inquiry was held. Dr. Francis Alexis was the person in charge, and I was there. I knew the name. I was wondering if it's not me what went from me, or give him a summons or something like that. So that is the reason why I asked you that question.
So the cows finally come home?
So I know, I think I know.
So you had an inquiry on misappropriation?
Something, I think. I used to go through the country and summons to certain people to come and in the inquiry. I went I went in a place in Guava. I want to tell you the person name. In Guava, I remember going to Guava and saw this person. He's a known person. I remember I went there and saw him and a lot of places. So that's the reason why I asked you that, because I'm only hearing the name and hearing the name over and over and over.
So you're full of receipts, man.
So this is the reason why I say, let me call and find out if that is person. But I don't know. In any case, I don't know if he used to work in the I call it oh God.
Gravel and concrete?
No, gravel and concrete. You're talking about the what department with money concern or something.
I don't know.
Right. In any case, I think he used to do a work like Andy Williams. Remember Andy Williams?
Okay.
Used to work, right. Something like that. But I know him good. Me and him move very well too.
Okay.
I was wondering if you see. So we get all this big authority that he could just sign check and go away with the woman and kind of thing, spending the people money.
And they say he's some chairman of the lotto board or something?
Well, yeah, that's why I tell you that. They were hearing. So I was wondering how come he's so bright. I determined.
Well, you have so much receipts?
Yeah?
How, they say he used to be in accounts department, senior finance person.
Right, accounts department.
But you have receipts, we?
I know, man. I know.
His best receipts?
So
but what they don't know we have all that receipts on them.
They wouldn't know, maybe.
We just doesn't want to say.
Exactly.
We don't allow them to do those stupidness.
I don't see how he could be chairman. That's my point. I'm not saying he don't see now. But I never knew he had this big set of jobs on them.
Yeah, well, his antecedents.
All right, partner. Take care. Have a nice afternoon.
Okay, so you know he was an accountant too? Yeah, let me take the next one. Hello? That man have a real receipt in here. Serious information. Spewing out on independent talk. So that is why they made them feel emboldened to take the country money. But I ain't hearing no, I don't hear Mr. Thomas talking about plundering the resources of the country again. Like that phase done, so now it's taking restorative justice. Wow. Igwe? I scared at all, man. Because when you listen the track record of these people and them do the litmus test, them and them only doing what they are accustomed doing. And now Deacon Mitchell give them the opportunity to do what they wanted to do, restorative justice. And then he comes to the nation and give us DMs by trying to mislead us. And that in itself is sad. So anytime we have to play any clip and ask you for a DM, the misleading clips. Wow. Igwe, the thing in your own words, the thing grimy, you know. The thing very, very, very grimy. Igwe. So what would happen to the Imanis going forward? Because we're hearing the thing look bleak for the Imanis. And that in itself is sad. That in itself is seriously sad, Igwe. Wow. Poor people, children can't get a break. What is the real reason for the late presentation of the budget, Igwe? Is it funding the budget has become a problem? What happens to the surpluses that Lennox Andrew spoke to? I take it. Good afternoon, caller.
And while she's saying that,
who is that?
While the Governor General reading out the document, they sit down there and they hear what the police is saying, and none of this guy, they have it in they get it, and they still sit down there and they write out the speech and they give the honorable lady to go there and read and laugh in the woman in the mind, you know, when you know that you already have the document in your hand, man. When you knew you called down Honorable Gregory Bowen, he sit down there with you, he told you where the document is, you even break there and get the document, you know, man.
He break the cabinet?
The man break the cabinet and the man take the document. Gregory Bowen give you the advice, tell you call your secretary, and I give you the information so your secretary could go to find it. The Prime Minister Tomakan told Gregory Bowen, you call her, and then you never told the public that you got the document with the help of Mr. Bowen. He didn't burn the document, he didn't take it, he didn't swallow it. But we got the document, and Mr. Prime Minister, you should be a big man by saying, we need to apologize. I need to apologize to the public and to Mr. Gregory Bowen, because indeed and in fact, the document did not leave the compound. Oh God. What? All you have a good day.
Play the GG again, kid. Somebody want to hear the lady.
Situation is untenable and completely unacceptable, and my government is committed to doing all within its power to unearth the mystery of Grenada's oil and gas status. Comprised of distinguished Grenadians, including Mr. Rodney George, Mr. Richard Duncan, Mr. Raymond Nurse, and the Office of the Attorney General, represented by the Solicitor General, to investigate and to do what it takes to demystify our oil and gas situation.
Igwe, this is unacceptable by the Prime Minister, Igwe. The DM he giving us have the poor lady wow. Yeah. That one have me in a bind, Igwe. The utterances of the Prime Minister shamelessly, and those who sit with him complicit to the level of corruption. And you heard the information and antecedents of the gentleman in Lotto. But we call for an independent investigation attorney general. You investigate for phone money. We call for investigation. We demand an investigation and an independent one. Not you and the Prime Minister to investigate. The cat can investigate who the cheese when the cat alone was in the room. Boy, Igwe, we have to continue to bring the information to the people. Because that is only how changes will be made and persons would make better and more informed decisions as it relates to the happenings in this beautiful country of ours. We don't give up. So at this juncture, NNP people and people who love Grenada, with all that is going on, stay woke. Let's take it. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, teachers. How you all doing?
We did out, man.
Everybody good?
Yeah, for now.
Yes. Well, I just come in there. I come from church. And I come in and I get in a piece of thing there. But what I really want to talk about, I want to talk about the things with the, that oil and gas is Mr. Bowen.
Yeah, go ahead.
This oil and gas, Mr. Bowen talks about it. But how this Prime Minister is dangerous like that? Why they so? Because Mr. Bowen say he called the man, right? And even he called him, and talks about the document. Yeah? Mr. Bowen say, well, let me get me people to talk about where the document is situated. The Prime Minister go and he tell the Governor General to say something different. Man, that is misleading the nation, But we have to take up this man and these things and them, But I believe that you are bribing that boy. I believe you have some bribing that. Because Mr. Carl, I see on Facebook, this thing come out, from the Nigeria, that what we get to know about the
we know.
With the document, I said on Facebook. The Prime Minister had a press conference and he didn't mention nothing like that. What is going on in our country, boss? It's like the Prime Minister don't care. And I just got a man they tell me how the Prime Minister is a helicopter, flying his helicopter in Montgomery. I said I should. I don't have permission. I said I don't have permission, so I can't really share any thoughts on that.
He could do as what he want, not as long as he want to.
His Prime Minister is getting out of hand, brother. This man told the Grenadian people is a need-to-know basis. We're going to give you information on a need-to-know basis. The Prime Minister doing things that nobody don't know. That's how Grenada running. This man running this country like a dictator,
Like a dictator, the man is.
Dictatorship does run countries. If they're fit to do something, they do something. If they don't care to do nothing, if they want to let you know, they let you know. Based on what they want to, they want the public to know. They give that kind of information. And is that what's going on in this country? Because there is no information valid to the people. The Prime Minister is just doing what he thinks is best for he, not for the country. And we can't continue to go down this road. We vote this Prime. Yes, I didn't vote for him, but it comes as a vote for him because he win the election. You win the election to govern now. You playing the fool. You know what people are bawling, my brother. You know what people are crying out. Many of them losing their job. They're going home. They have a family to maintain. Doesn't this Prime Minister have a heart, boss? Ask them in the churches, does this Prime Minister really have a heart? Is really the NDC the heart of the people? Or they just their heart on the head? Asking the question. Because these men don't care. And that's what NDC means. They don't care. Come on, man. Oh, God. I
know how you're feeling, eh?
Because he hurt me, Carl. Because when you see, Carl, let me tell you something. I have a job. But what about that man on the street who don't have a job? And he was in a job. And he lost that job. Some people losing almost on the brink of losing their mortgage. When the Prime Minister told the people of Grenada, we're going to make you permanent. You're not going anywhere. He never tell me go send them home. Eh? And because they perceive you to be an NNP, they send you home. So these people are not Grenadian. What are NMP or NEC? We're not Grenadian. And even sending on the own people too. The own people going home too. Why, come on, man. We have to do something, okay? Because we can't just take with their sheep. That's taking out their sheep, you know. Is that how we motivate the people and the man take the street and get his man out, you know? Yes, I have a job. But what about the poor man? That lady there, that boy, that girl. Yeah? You have 4 people in Grenville walking car. They were walking under the 2 in Imani. Another woman, another lady walking in some other place. And his son walking out of place. The man sent everybody home, you know. And she has a child to see about. How could it, and then look at it, the man Thomas and sit down there and say nothing. If you keep me jelly, they take it straight along. Yeah, how can I think to say, we keep me jelly? Let me do something like that. Flat cat for so. But I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's called to is a call to running Grenadiers. Everybody just go silent. Grenadiers don't say nothing. And when you speak out and tell them, look what is going on. So imagine that, Carl. If the man didn't speak out about this oil and gas thing, we're not going on.
Now, if them Nigerian didn't say nothing, the man would have us like fools.
We obviously. The man sees us as fools. He don't see us as important. We are important people. We might be a small island, but we are very important. And that is why they give you the mandate to run the country. Because they see you as important as well. See you as a man who could do things and take care of things. But now you're doing nothing. Carl, do easy. Carl, we have to do something.
No, we have to do the work and get ready. We have to be.
Carl, we doing the work, you know. We on the ball.
We have to get ready. We have to do what it takes. We've done it before. So we know how to get it done.
And some young men, they want them get registered, but they head hard.
You have to work with them and work with the young ones.
Yeah, I'm working with them, still working with them. But Carl, let me tell you something. We have to get the people out. Can't take another 5 years.
No. Oh, let me show you the vibes. The aim of all NNP and people who like Grenada is to get rid of the National Democratic Congress.
Yeah.
Our methods might seem to be different, but we have to have one aim.
One aim.
And we have to be together.
Yeah.
We have to be together to fight a fight.
Well,
we can't fight a fight inside.
That's correct. We have to work together.
So persons have to understand, respect, and do what is necessary.
Well, not only that, we have to go out on the block and indicate to the people, look, what is going on in our country.
We have to go out on the block. We have to start advocating among the young ones,
yeah,
the Imanis and so on. Yeah. What went astray, we have to bring them back. We have to tell them, come home to the house of the new National Party.
But hold on, with this Imani thing, I don't hear about Imani anything. The Imani is program.
No, they're looking to damage them, man. They just a matter of time. So they have to know what time is it, and we have to remind them.
So the Imani going on too?
Well, them men and them, they can't read budget, I expect.
Lord of mercy. But you realize that this time with the budget again, and the budget is next year.
So they see?
So if the budget is next year and you can't read the budget here, then you'd have a budget for the man injured. You're right. So Carl, you the men using you see how they're doing the things psychologically?
Yeah, man, them men and them.
Psychologically. They ain't using people, they're telling people about go home automatically. They're telling them go home. They're using you psychologically.
So you might just see the allocations for the E-man in the budget cut, or you don't have. So automatically they can be thing.
Yes, that's what it's going to be. Because in the first place, let me tell you something. I also hear a lot of NBC saying that the Imani program is a wicked program because people are going to work and they're getting free money. That's why they say the bushing is not a good program. Let teach a man to fish. But if you teach a man to fish, you have to give him bait, you have to give him boat, you have to give him line. Yeah? Yes, if you want to teach him to fish, you have to teach him by the line.
Yeah.
And the boat, the engine, all these things you have to teach him. So you can just teach a man to fish just without line. And it's the same thing, and you do nothing with line. It's teaching us to fish, no line.
No bait?
No bait neither. No boat to go on the ocean, to go in the water. If you go swim. And that is what is going on in this country. Why we have to do something.
No, we have to get we act together.
Yeah, before I go, I want to say good evening to the parliamentary representative, Dr. Clarice Modest. wonderful lady to me. Not for the others, but I would speak highly of her. She's very, very nice to me.
Testify.
You understand? And Dr. Mitchell, Emlyn Pierre, that's a wonderful lady again. Peter David, Miss Kate Lewis. I'm praying for you all, that God will keep all you there and make sure that it's come the next election, we win that election convincingly. But as again, as the former political, the political leader said, we got to do a job. That David said it too. In Boca Secondary School, we got to do a job. Let us do what we have to do to win that election.
All right,
and all the other leaders, those who are going to be part of the leads, those leads, Miss Yulan Bean Household and Miss what's her name again? Lorna Waldron and Mr. Gregory Bowen. Good, and thank Mr. Gregory, thank you for the information. Because I asked Mr. Gregory when I didn't book a school, I said, you want to speak to us tonight? He said he come to speak. But I said, you want to speak on that tonight? And he did.
All right. So take care, man.
Yeah. So I'll have a good evening.
Bless.
And I want to say good evening again to Janice. Janice, my sister in Grenville.
All right.
And our children. Have a good evening.
Okay, man. So good afternoon, family.
Yes.
All right.
I say this man can be serious, like he out to puppy show us, running a country.